Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how you would change colors if you were following a Graphgan pattern. I'm working on my tiger sweater right now, which has this chart. And one of the most common questions I get is, how do I change colors? So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. For this tutorial, I'm going to be using yellow yarn, green yarn, and I'm going to be using the half double crochet stitch, but this will work for single crochet and double crochet, but I use half double crochet most often, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So I've already done a couple of rows in half double crochet, and I'm just going to continue in my green for a few stitches. So let's say we want to put a yellow stitch right here in this one. In your final green stitch, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now, this is the point where you would yarn over and pull through all three of these loops, but we're not going to do that because we want to change to yellow. So we're going to take this green yarn and move it to the front. So that's out of the way. And then we're going to take the yellow yarn and we're going to yarn over and pull through. So at this point, you're going to continue working with your yellow yarn. So you can see there, your green yarn, working yarn, is at the front. And when we get to this point where if we want to change back to green here, we're going to do the same thing that we did before. On this last stitch, we're going to do yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, and then we're going to bring the yellow yarn to the front. Now the reason we do this is so when you come back, the green yarn, as you can see, is at the back. And you can just switch over to that one really easily. You yarn over, pull through all three, and you just continue working. And then as you can see, you've got your color change right there, and it's nice and neat. And then your yarn that you bring to the front, when you return, it's always at the back for you to pick up, and it's nice and easy. Now, let's just untangle. So, if we do another row, let's say you wanted to do the next yellow stitch here, but the yarn that you've dropped is all the way over here. So I've already done half of the half double crochet, so we're going to bring the green yarn to the front as we did before, and we're going to pick up this yarn over here, and we are still going to yarn over and pull through, but you want to make sure that this piece of yarn here, it's not too tight, but it's also not too loose. Okay, and then as you work in these next three green stitches, you're going to make sure that you crochet over this yarn so that it's hidden. Okay, so you're just going to hold it up at the top here above these green stitches and make sure you're going all the way over it. And you can see it on that side and on that side. So, just going to do another row, and then I want to show you what happens if you want to change colors and the yarn that you've dropped is too far over that way rather than that way. Okay, so I'm going to show you what you would do if you wanted to do your first yellow stitch over here. Okay, because you're getting a bit tangled here. Let me see. So your yellow yarn is here, but you want to do your first yellow stitch here, and all of these in green. So here's what you do. Do your first 3 green stitches as normal. Now, when you get to the point where you've dropped this yarn, you're going to hold it across the top here and you're going to carry it through just as we did before, but you're going in the other way. So you're going to crochet over that yarn just to hold it in place and keep it hidden. And then just as before, I'm going to do half of the double crochet in green, bring your yarn to the front. And then again, you want to pull this so that there's no loose bits, but you don't want to pull it too tight because it will bunch up the fabric. So finish your stitch and keep going. Now I'm going to show you what you would do if you wanted to do more green stitches here. You wouldn't keep using this one, so instead you would do half of your double crochet as I showed you before. You bring this to the front and then you would attach a bobbin, another bit of green yarn, a separate piece to the one that you're using, and you would just continue as before doing your stitches. So you would have to have two green bobbins attached to this if you're doing two separate blocks of colour. That way you don't have any if you didn't do that, you would have to carry this green yarn under here and it would be a little bit visible. And we don't want that. We want it to be nice and clean and the blocks of colour very clear. So that's how you would do that. You would need the two, not that one, that's an end, two green bobbins. Or you might need, you know, if you're doing another yellow and then another green, you would need three. So if you are doing lots of colours, like with this, you do end up with a lot of working yarns, so you've got to make sure that you don't tangle them, you know, keep them nice and neat, otherwise you do end up in a bit of a mess. But I hope that tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe.